And I believe you are watching us out on the internet. Welcome to the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup here in Manchester, United Kingdom. My name's Mr. Whistler.
I'm the Golden Snatch, and I am super pumped to be here. It's been an amazing morning so far, and we are going to watch Wales versus Canada very shortly. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings?
Well, it's going to be this whole weekend is a magical weekend of roller derby magic, because that's why it's magical. But we're going to see. This is going to be an interesting game. Like Canada, of course, they've been here before. They been in 2011 in Toronto, 2014 in Dallas. No, I don't believe there's any prior history between Wales and Canada, so we'll have to see what that leads to.
Not to the best of my knowledge, but I think what's going to be interesting is that Canada comes into this, as you say, as a veteran team of skaters. They are one to watch. I think that's been the kind of the vibes on the internet about, thinking Canada's going to be getting to those top echelons of the tournament. But from what I've seen of Wales, they are certainly not to be underestimated. I had the privilege of announcing at Road to Manchester 2 months ago today, in fact, and Wales, there was a six-team tournament, and Wales won all 5 of their games, and they did so fairly convincingly. So they are a very consistent team. They are very well gelled together because they can all train together quite a lot. A lot of them come from the same local teams, and they really have an ability to adapt and strategize very quickly. So I don't think they're going to let Canada have an easy ride of it at all. It's going to be a great game.
Well, speaking of Wales, why don't you give us a run through of the Welsh roster for this game?
Okay, so for this game we have number 11 Bexon, we have number 1 Dos Santos, 106 Optimus, 11 Nikila, 13 Boris, 17 Jenkill, 191 Jones, 316 and the captain Thrill Collins, 345 Hook, 44 Gabriel, 6 Chantal, 62 Pip Gray, 7 Mort, 777 Sally Jones, and 88 Kemp. And that is a strong roster for Wales to put out there for this first game of the World Cup.
Yeah, so Wales will be wearing green for this game. Team Canada will be wearing red. And the Canadian roster for this game, number 1017 is Bigley Smalls. Number 123, Miracle Whips. 13, Alcatraz. Number 131, Alexandra Evans. You may also know her as Bruise Berry Pie. Number 16, Palmer. 183, Lever. Number 19, the captain for this game, Labrosse. 210 is Boxcar. 231, Crazy Squirrel. 24, Shania Payne. 420, Maliwana. 604, Sarah Ekholm. 658 is Hughes. 66, Falcon Punch. And number 95, Pulish.
And of course, for those of you who watch the WFTDA Championships, you'll be familiar with a lot of Canada's roster from New Skids on the block. And looks like first up on the jam line is one of the New Skids. That's number 66, Falcon Punch. And she will face off against 1-3 from Wales, Boris.
Now, Falcon Punch in 2014 at the last Women's World Cup in Dallas, skating for France. But here, skating for Team Canada, and has picked up lead. Star pass happening at turn 1 on the Welsh side.
Yep, and I think we're going to see, not just this game, but in this tournament, we're going to see a lot of star passes because the game format is so short. 30 minutes per game, straight through, no half-time, no time to adjust the pace really with a half-time. So they're going to want to put points on the board as quick as possible. They can't afford to have conservative strategies.
Yeah, 4 points were picked up there by Falcon Punch for Team Canada. So they are first on the board, 4-0 after one jam. Having a look here at the Welsh bench, seeing number 191 Jones in the middle of the screen, and we're back underway.
And I think that is Mort, number 7 for Wales, who was a Wales MVP at Road to Manchester, and there's a reason why Mort is out in front as lead for Wales.
Crazy Squirrel does get through on the initial pass, but has about a half lap to make up as the pack now moves around turn 2 into the far straightaway.
Mort looks at her bench, decides not to call the jam. Like I said before, points is everything in this game. Runs it round, comes in to hit that Canadian tripod at the back, breaks through 1-2, faces off at a 2-wall, coming into the apex. Battling at the front, one to beat, edged out, one to beat again, and there she goes for another scoring pass.
So both jammers rounding turn 2 as Crazy Squirrel has caught up. They're now going point for point to see if Mort's going to try to get some points and shut the door on Crazy Squirrel.
And she's been helped out there at the front by, I believe that's 1-1 Nikilla, offering up some offense. And it looks like we have, after that jam, a tied game. 12 points on the board for Wales. So I told you they were going to show a big challenge for Canada.
Yeah, it was a nice move there at the end as the Welsh pack did move up front to save their points, ensuring that they could tie the score at the end of that jam. Meliwana on the jammer line for Canada, and number 777, Sally Jones for Team Wales.
Sally Jones, one of the very few people on the Welsh roster who does not actually play for a Welsh team. She hails from Leeds Roller Derby and is a absolutely cracking jammer, very calm and very clever with her footwork. But Meliwana pushing the front of that pack, takes a knee and is going to be reset to turn 2. Oh.
We've got a power jam developing now as Sally Jones cuts the track and takes a seat in the penalty box. Meliwana, lead jammer, in the driver's seat on this power jam.
And she comes up against Dos Santos at their front, takes a knee to the inside. You do not want to be hit by Dos Santos.
No, it was a nice little shimmy move that Meliwana attempted there, but Santos did not fall for it.
Yeah, Meliwana really hitting her stride now as she comes around for another scoring pass. Wales resetting their defensive wall in the apex.
Yeah, the Welsh penalty box had filled up there. All seats were occupied. Mort is back out on the track, star in hand, coming around turn 3.
And some lovely little light footwork there from Sally Jones, who has re-entered play. Takes the points. Meliwana pushes at the front, looks at her bench, and calls the jam. Huge jam there for Team Canada.
Yeah, second star pass there for Team Wales. No points able to come in, though, for Sally Jones after receiving the star. And that's a 14-0 jam for Team Canada. And they're out in front now 26-12. 25 and a half minutes left in this game. Remember, these are abbreviated games here on day 1 at the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup. 4 penalties equal a foul out.
That's sad. 4 penalties. Oh, man, that must suck.
But just try not to get 4.5 an hour.
I mean, yeah, that would be a good thing to not do. We don't want penalties. We want more Derby, and we're going to get more Derby with a quick lead for Canada.
Yeah, Shania Payne.
What an excellent name. I mean, I know we've got a lot of names this weekend to contend with, but Shania Payne is one of my early favorites, and she is going to be one of my early favorites in terms of speed as well. Out she goes. Now Boris in hot pursuit out of the pack.
Yeah, they're right behind Shania Payne. Unable, though, to catch the pack for points. 2-point pickup there at the end for Shania Payne.
So it looks like Wales are going to be running, at least initially, that 3-jammer roster as Mort lines up to jam for Wales for the second time. We're just having a quick look there at the Welsh bench. And that is 6-6 Falcon Punch for Canada again.
Yeah, Falcon Punch, obviously a dynamic jammer, part of the main rotation for Montreal's new skids on the block and WFTDA action. But again, with the experience at the World Cup, very quickly picking up lead. Star dropped, and then the big drawback here from Evans against Mortz all the way back to turn 4. Evans trying to force the cut, does not succeed.
Yeah, Mort's too clever for that, but is forced to the infield there, takes a knee, has a look, resets behind Canada's blockers in the straightaway. In the meantime, Falcon Punch just swooping on through, racking up those points. Canada making a statement here in this jam. It's almost like I only just finished commenting on the fact that she was through the pack and then she's hitting the pack again. What is she, supersonic?
May not be supersonic, but she is Falcon Punch. Of course, Falcon Punch at
basically the
WFTDA
same.
playoffs this year in Seattle back in September with that massive jam against Rat City. Very comfortable doing lap after lap. She's showing here right now. So 47-12, 23 minutes plus on the period clock. Crazy Squirrel with the maple leaf on the helmet cover. Team Canada with a maple leaf as opposed to a star. And Sally Jones, 3-7s, is the jammer for Wales.
I love that Team Canada are a little different with their star. They're like, do you know what? Everyone has a star. We're going to have a maple leaf. Good for them. And it's working in their favor, as we have another lead for Canada and Crazy Squirrel. And it looks like we have had a star pass to the Welsh pivot. That's 316, Thrill Collins, the captain. And Sally Jones forming part of that wall now as a blocker.
No, and going to the penalty box with the star in hand, Thrill Collins. But Thrill Collins seated currently as a blocker. So Thrill Collins received the star, so there appears to be no jammer on the track for Wales.
And that is not what you want to do when you've got the Canadian defense and offense out there, although Wales doing a great job holding and stretching out the front of that pack.
Yeah, Hook and Sally Jones tag teaming on Crazy Squirrel here, but Crazy Squirrel does go through with the 5-point pass.
Canada seem to be really keen on goating at the moment. Oh no, and there is Thrill Collins through on what will be their initial, I believe.
Oh, and now we have Thrill Collins for an illegal procedure back in the penalty box, still with the jammer star, which means that star pass not completed properly, and that star unavailable for the rest of this jam at this rate for Wales.
And in the meantime, Crazy Squirrel is just going, do you know what? I will take this opportunity and I'm just going to put as many points on the board as physically possible for Canada. And the jam is called, so that means that Thrill Collins will be iced in the box.
And yeah, so the star pass had not been completed, and I don't think that Thrill Collins realized that and kept holding on to the star. Is again been seated as a blocker in the penalty box, is standing, but has been able to hand the star off to the bench. So Wales will be fielding a jammer for this one, which will be number 13, Boris.
So just to clarify for those of you who are not sure what that means with the star pass being not completed, it means that Thrill Collins remains the pivot. So until she re-enters the track, which she is just doing, Boris will not be able to effect a star pass of their own if they need to. So Canada has picked up lead, but Boris is through the pack on their initial. But Meliwana decides to conserve that jam, calls it off, picks up a few for Canada. 76 plays 12 at the moment. I mean, I did say that Wales were going to present a huge challenge, and they have, but the points do not reflect that right now.
Now, the last 5 jams in a row, Wales has been held off the scoreboard. After 2 jams, they were knotted up at a dozen apiece. A team timeout is being called here. Appears to be being called by Wales. Sisu mouthguards, the official mouthguard of the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup. Thank you, Sisu. You're also, by the way, watching this particular game on the S1 Helmets Co. track. S1 Helmets, the official helmet of the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup.
And we have the jammers lining up again. We have 7 morts for Wales.
Again, in these abbreviated games, a team timeout does not stop the clock here, so the time is still ticking. It just means that they don't have to run right into that 30 seconds lineup time.
And we have 24 Shania Payne on the jam line for Canada. And a quick little move off the jam line. We'll see Shania Payne take the lead for Canada.
Star coming off very quickly for Mortz, but being kept away from her pivot.
Yeah, Canada seem to have eyes everywhere on track, but Moore is now working and does escape the pack on their initial pass.
Yeah, the big takeout against Alcatraz. Shania Payne knocked into the infield, sees the bench giving her the signal, so she's going to call the jam, but does pick up a 4 spot. So it's 80 points even for Team Canada. Still holding at a dozen is Team Wales. We still have 18 minutes of game time left.
And that is a lot of game time in Derby. I mean, it seems like it's going by very, very quickly, but we've seen already today in previous games some huge jams, 15, 18 points. So if Wales can pull out a few of those, we could have some real contention here.
What they showed it certainly in that second jam when they got those dozen points and had a jam win on Canada.
Yeah, but since then, Canada seems to have been setting the pace and dictating the flow of the game a lot more, and this is no exception.
Falcon Punch is the lead jammer for Canada.
She does do that a lot, doesn't she?
Boris knocked to the outside. Again, the long throwback by Bigley Smalls and Alexandra Evans. Boris with a very quick star pass right up the middle, handing it off to, I can't see from here just yet who this is. My apologies. That's Chantel, number 6, who had been the pivot.
Yeah, no, very quick eyes there from Boris. Saw that gap, and as I said, star passes are going to be used very tactically this game. It's not about jammer pride. It's about points on the board. And a great little hop there from Chantal. And she is going to put some points on for Wales, the first since Jam 3, I believe.
Falcon Punch, though, 5 points on the tail end of that jam. Canada now at 94. But yes, Wales with those 4 points there now sitting at 16.
Hey, 16 points is 16 points. You know, not to be sneered at.
Get a different shirt from a different roller derby league from around the world every month. Join the Roller Derby Shirt Club at rollerderbyshirtclub.com.
I mean, I would do that. I would join them. I want to, you know, because we could all use more roller derby shirts. I personally never find that I have enough.
No, I haven't been able to find any for this weekend, personally.
Well, thank God you've managed to find one now, because this is a family-friendly event, Whistler. So we have number 17 for Wales. That's Jen Kill at the front, but they take a little step to the outside, and that opens up lead for 2-3-1 Crazy Squirrel. But Jen Kill is through the pack on their initial. And Crazy Squirrel calls it before Jen Kill can re-engage with the pack. And we are so tantalizingly close to the century mark for Canada. 98 plays 16 with almost half the time gone as we go into Jam 10.
Yes, 36 of those 98 points for Team Canada belonging to Crazy Squirrel, so far leading the charge for the team in red.
And I think that's what's exciting about the World Cup as well, because I think when people think of Team Canada, they think of the big names, Miracle Whips, Falcon Punch, Miliwana, the WFTDA famous.
They often think of Montreal. They think of Montreal. Montreal, the top WFTDA team in Canada, pretty much forever in terms of rankings. I think there was a brief period Terminal City out of Vancouver in the West Coast was ahead in the rankings, but Montreal, top 10 league right now. And there are players showing at all levels, whether it's the World Cup or in WFTDA play, even home league play, why that people that come out of that league are so strong.
For sure. And I think it's going to be a great opportunity for us to see people from lesser-known teams or lesser-known rosters really shine at the World Cup, because you're not always going to have the biggest names on in every game in this tournament format. Canada have hit the century mark. We will have to find out if there are any other teams who have hit the century so far, and they're looking to rack up even more points.
Yeah, Shania Payne coming here from Eville Roller Derby in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, having a big performance at Division II playoffs last year in August in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
So Shania Payne was edged to the inside there, forced to reset behind that Wales tripod. In the meantime, I believe that is Mort for Wales, who is, did she make it? Not quite. It looked so good from here.
Yeah, I think the wires got crossed there as both jammers going in opposite directions trying to evade blockers. May have gotten a little bit tangled there at the apex.
Honestly, do they not know they have to skate in derby direction? There are rules for a reason.
Yeah, an out-of-play block couple being issued here to Wales, so that's going to thin the pack considerably. It's a 4-2 pack advantage now for Team Canada.
And Canada just going into defensive mode here. They really trust their jammer to just, do their thing. They don't need any offense right this time. Wales trying to put up a block there against Shania Payne, who just goes, nope.
Yeah,
not today.
That's right. Lover and Palmer leading the blocking charge at the front right now for Team Canada.
And Shania Payne comes up against Wales at the front. That's number 6'2", Pip Gray. And more round for another scoring pass. So, this is a big jam for Wales compared to some of the rest of the game. But we will end that jam on an exact 100-point differential. Oh, no, forgive me. Canada 124, Wales 20. So 104 points separate these teams.
So and replay here off the start.
And we are just seeing the strength of and patience.
And that's where you see the two jammers getting, don't cross the streams, as they try to get around that apex in the Ghostbusters move, as we call it. Falcon Punch and Boris with the stars and maple leaves on their helmets.
And Falcon Punch sees that inside, just quietly cleared by her blockers to pick up lead once again for Wales. I believe Falcon Punch is maintaining 100% lead jammer status this game. Boris, drawn back into the near straightaway, has removed the star, re-engages with Canada's wall, tries to take the inside with some offensive help, but no, has passed the star. And that is to number 6, Chantal.
You see the Canadian blockers moving towards the back there. Poulish on the right side, able to just a little knock to try to get Chantal out. A point does come in for Wales, though, on that pass. So Wales at 21, Canada 133, 11 minutes plus on the period clock. Blood and Thunder, whose belief is life's better on roller skates. Visit them at bloodandthundermag.com for roller derby inspired apparel.
And they're not wrong. Life really is better on roller skates, or at least when you have people on skates around you. Because, I'm not on skates this weekend, but I'm having a ball of a time. So we have 777 for Wales. That is Sally Jones pushing the pack out of turn 2. 2-3-1 Crazy Squirrel for Canada, drawn back by Pip Gray. Could this be a lead for Wales as Sally works on that initial at the front? Oh, can Dos Santos get Crazy Squirrel? Almost, not quite.
Yeah, Crazy Squirrel pinballs at turn 3 between the blockers, and now is slowing down, doing a little bit of defense here on Sally Jones as they come around turn 2 towards the far straightaway.
So a great hold there for Wales, despite not gaining lead jammer. A real challenge there. Sally Jones raises her hand. Did she put points on the boards? She put 1 point on the board, and as we know in Derby, 1 point can feel like 1,000.
And at the end of that jam, Crazy Squirrel called for a track cutting penalty. So this will be a power start for Team Wales. They're going to send number 17, Jen Kill, out, and they found a second point on the floor there for Jen Kill. So that's a 2-0 pickup at the end there for Wales. 24 for Wales, 135 for Canada. Less than 10 minutes remain.
And I think this is the first power jam of this game, so let's see how Wales copes. Sending Jen Kill out on track with the star. Canada holding strong, but being moved into turn 2. Now turn 3. Jen Kill working on 1, 2, 3. Reform now. Offense comes in, and Jen Kill is lead for Wales. The crowd is very pleased about that. A much needed lead jammer status for the team in green.
Yeah, Canada had been on a 10 consecutive lead jammer run.
So Jen Kill now re-engaging with that Canadian tripod. Backed up by 604 Sarah Ekholm.
And you saw Crazy Squirrel re-emerge, getting through on the inside on the initial pass. But Wales is going to run it.
I mean, at this point, Wales probably know that this is not a winning game for them, but they just want to enjoy the jams and put as many points on whilst they're in control, right?
Well, for sure. And part of that, too, of course, is that this opening day, this is a day basically to determine seeding for the rest of the tournament. Later tonight, the results of today are all going to be fed into this magical computer as part of our weekend of Derby Magic.
And if I knew how to explain the magical computer and the math and the algorithms to you, I would, but I don't. I just show up and they give me a microphone, really. But we will have all that information for you later.
Here's that lead jammer pickup there for Jen Kill on that previous jam. New jammer on the line now for Wales in green, number 11. That's Nikila.
And she's up against 420 Meliwana for Team Canada. And the pack rolls back to the jam line. Meliwana taking the in. Nikila trying to take the out. The pack now spread. Meliwana with a relatively quick lead there for Canada. And a quick star removal. Possibly star stash from Nikila. Oh, and we have had a star pass. That is to 316, Thrill Collins again. And you know what, Meliwana decides, no, I'm going to be conservative with that. I'm not going to run the risk. Interesting decision there. But I suppose Canada don't need more points at the moment. Maybe they're trying to conserve energy more than put points on the board.
Bench staff for Wales signaling for an official review that they're going to use as a team timeout.
The Roller Derby World Cup is brought to you in part by the new Rydell Solaris. Solaris, the performance you demand, the comfort you've been missing. Shout out to Rydell Skates, who are the proud sponsor of the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup. You can make your own skates your own with custom-colored, handcrafted Color Lab boots by Rydell Skates, Powerdyne plates, and performance skate products. Cutting-edge designs, cutting-edge performance. So a huge thank you to Rydell for all they do for Roller Derby. Do check them out if you see them at the World Cup and online.
Having a look here at Team Canada on the track during this timeout called by Wales. Number 95, La Montagne, also listed as Pouliche on the game rosters we were given. But a lot of skaters, of course, at World Cup who might otherwise use derby names do skate often when they're representing their national teams.
Do you mean they use
names.
their real names? And we're getting a nice little shot of the crowd there. I can see a West Indies shirt in there, which is nice to see. They will play Sweden later, I believe. That should be a great one to watch. We have Mort on the jam line for Wales in the green, and she is up against number 24 for Canada, Shania Payne.
Canada taking the back wall. 4-3 pack advantage to start this jam for Team Canada.
Interesting tactic there. We have a loose floating player by both teams at the front, cancelling each other's offense out. It is a lead for Shania Payne. Mort removes the star, takes a big leap to the in, knocks out, recycled back as Shania Payne just skips around the Welsh wall at the front to pick up 5 points.
Yeah, and seeing repeatedly off that start, Evans, 131 for Team Canada, doing it again here, coming behind turn one with the big takeout, but getting floored there by, I believe it was Dos Santos, number 1, just absolutely smoking Alexandra Evans on the track and creating a nice space for the Welsh jammer.
Oh, Dos Santos' offense is like no other. I mean, when you get hit by Dos Santos, your ancestors feel it, so...
Indeed. Shania Payne coming around the outside, bit of a dipsy doodle getting through, and that's going to be good for a 5-point pass.
And Chantal, in the meantime, working on the back of those Canadian blockers, does stay in bounds, will pick up 4 points then for Wales. And Shania Payne goes, nah, you've had your fun. No more jamming for you.
But that Wales now at 30 points. Having a look here, I think we're going to see the re-entry from Dos Santos and
just if you want to watch how to do a really good shoulder block, go back and rewatch that footage 17 times. Do it now, then go and practice it, and one day you can be like Dos Santos.
Boris is taking the star right now for Wales. We have 3.5 minutes left in this game. wearing the maple leaf on the helmet. That's 66 Falcon Punch, who's also the lead jammer. Boris now negotiating around the outside. They are almost through, have a couple more to beat to complete the initial, and then they do, but to have half a lap to make up.
And we're seeing some kind of shorter, sharper jams now as we're coming into the last stretch of this game. Both teams perhaps mindful that they do need to be out on track again later to play at the same intensity. I'm tired just thinking about it.
Yeah, Wales has used any of their, quote, stoppages. Again, the stoppage is not actually stopping time in these abbreviated games, but at least you get that break between jams when you need to do a reset. So Canada in control, 172-30, less than 3 minutes left.
And Sally Jones with the start for Wales is fighting at the back. Offered up some offense, trying to find those holes. 2-3-1 Crazy Squirrel re-entering the pack.
Yeah, Crazy Squirrel making her own holes there on the inside.
I want to know why that she's called Crazy Squirrel. I want to know where that name comes from.
I think it has somewhat to do with the skating style. Crazy Squirrel kind of known for apex jumps
I see.
as well. It's a bit of a flying squirrel happening there too.
I mean, she's very calm and consistent on track this game, so I mean, maybe Crazy Squirrels are also calm and consistent. Who knows?
Yeah, at the WFTDA level, Crazy Squirrel currently playing on the charter team for Queen City out of Buffalo, New York. Buffalo is, of course, right across the border from Canada, very close to Niagara Falls. So there's a bit of a Canadian crossover sometimes there at that border.
You came here for Derby, you get Derby and geography. What more could you want on this Thursday morning?
Dos Santos, again, being a bit of a beast here at the front, alongside Pip Gray, the two of them tag teaming here on Crazy Squirrel, and now Pip Gray with the drawback to turn two.
Yeah, a great little two-all there from Wales, just waiting patiently for Crazy Squirrel to get back up before knocking her out of bounds and drawing her back. And we have Sally Jones working again at that apex, being so tenacious and so patient with that footwork. But that Canada wall is seemingly impregnable. Sally Jones removes the star, but her pivot has taken it, works on one at the front. In the meantime, Canada are goating a Wales player in the back as the jam comes to an end.
Yeah, finally Crazy Squirrel really had to work hard for that last 5-point pass there.
Yeah, I think maybe Wales are starting to remember to play their own game a little bit. I think Canada have come out very fast and furious, and actually Wales' style, from what I've seen of them, is characteristically much more controlled. Their walls are incredibly strong. Their offense is very patient and well-timed.
Yeah, and they do seem to have a good affinity, I think, for matching up against Crazy Squirrel in this game. But Crazy Squirrel has picked up a lot of points in this game. But that being said, there's been some really strong shutdown moments. Both jammers breaking through the pack here, but Meliwana is lead. Right behind Meliwana, though, is number 7, Mort for Wales. And we are now on jam time only. A minute and a half of jam time left, but the period clock has run down.
And Meliwana trying to edge out these last points for Wales, taking on Hartley at the back. Mort working against number 1-9 for Canada. That is Labrosse, the captain.
Hughes taking a seat in the penalty box for Team Canada. Still have a minute left on this jam,
and
potentially.
Mort is going to use that time if she's allowed to pick up 4 more points. Meliwana recycled back, and with just a little hit out, caused the jam. And whilst it says halftime on your screen, folks, there is no halftime today.
That's right. That's the end of time.
It's not the end of time.
It's the end of
That's very true. It's only Thursday. There's 3.5 more days.
Let's get through this weekend first. We have important things to happen here this weekend here in Manchester. But looking to see any final points coming in. The unofficial final currently 199 for Team Canada, 34 for Wales.
So if we can say something for Wales, it's that they prevented Canada from hitting the double century. And you know what? That is pretty darn impressive, I think. And you know what? A great game from Wales. I think Derby is not always reflected in the scores. It's reflected very much on track. And I think Wales are going to have a great tournament despite that early loss. I think they will use it to come back really strong later on.
Yeah, Wales will next be in action at 3:30 local time here. Actually, not on this track. They'll be on the Blood and Thunder track. That'll be at 3:30 local time this afternoon against France. Canada's next action will be at 4 o'clock on this same track, taking on Russia. So they both have more games coming up. And speaking of France, they will be coming up next on this track, taking on Team USA.
And that is going to be a one that the crowd are going to want to see. USA, of course, the favorites for this tournament, as they have been every year. But I'm really excited to see the challenges they're going to meet from other teams. I think other teams are going to come into it going, do you know what, USA? It may be your year, but we're going to make it really, really difficult for you to get
there. Well, I think things have definitely changed a lot since this event started in 2011. I think in 2011, it was definitely a foregone conclusion that Team USA was going to come out on top, and by far. And we saw in 2014 in Dallas, the top 3 and 4 teams kind of switching it up a bit from the previous Women's World Cup. This year, there's a lot of potential for upsets here. We've seen how strong the teams that come out of Australia have been. They're definitely in that conversation. England's in the conversation. Canada is also a team not to be forgotten about. There are plenty of other teams here this weekend.
As well, New Zealand.
Sweden. They're predicting even the final 8, let alone the top 4, I think is going to be a big challenge for just about anybody.
But we're going to try and do it anyway. So you can see on the screen right now, we do have Team USA. A lot of the big names that people have come here to see are getting themselves on track. Please do stay with us on the live stream. We have so much more wonderful Derby action for you. You really do not want to miss a second of it. And I think we are going to hand over shortly to the next broadcasters.
Yeah, so I've been Mr. Whistler.
I'm the Golden Snatch. Thank you for staying with us, and we will see you later for some more amazing Derby at the Roller Derby World Cup 2018 in Manchester.